completed, date and time. So I hope you practiced it, right? Right. Okay, students. So let us move to the further. So I will go to next today. Multi-threading I'm going to start. So multi-threading I'm going to start. Let us start understanding about multi-threading here. So here, multi-threading in Python. So this concept generally it is going to come in the product based companies. Why, why are you talking? Doubt? మరి ఎందుకు మాట్లాడుతున్నారు? I think you are talking. డౌట్ అంటే చెప్పండి. ఏమా ప్రాక్టీస్ అడుగుతున్నావు, తర్వాత అడగొచ్చు కదా. మీదయిందా? మీ ప్రాక్టీస్ అయిందా? మళ్ళీ ఆమెతో ఏం పని? మా అది మాట్లాడాల్సిన అవసరం ఉంటుందా అంటున్నా? డిస్టర్బెన్సే కదా క్లాస్లో, కాదా? ఏమో ప్రాక్టీస్ చేసి చెప్పమ్మా, మళ్ళీ టెన్షన్ పడతా ఉంది. చెప్పమ్మా, అయిందా? అయిందంట. మీదైందమ్మా? అయిపోయింది. మీదైందమ్మా? మీ అందరిది అయిందా ప్రాక్టీస్? అయిందా? మొత్తం అంది అయిపోయింది. మీది అయిపోయిందా? ఓకేనా? షల్ స్టార్ట్ మై క్లాస్. ఇంకా మాట్లాడకండి ప్లీజ్. ఏమనంటే నాకు చెప్పండి, నేను అందరిని అడుగుతా. మనకి ఎందుకు అరే మీరు నవ్వకండి, వాళ్ళు తిట్టుకుంటారు నన్ను. వై బాదర్ అబౌట్ అదర్స్? సో multi-threading in Python, there we are going to have some index. So what is that index? I used to take up. I'll just show you. So try to move to the further. There I'm having what will be that part of threading. I'll just show you the index of it. There I'm going to take up index of multi-threading. So going to show this is a multi-threading index. When you go to any product-based companies, these questions will be coming. When you go to service-based companies, that is project-based companies, this will not be coming at all. Project-based. When you go to project-based, nobody will ask any single question. Why? Because nowadays, the total technologies which are available in the real time are going to contain by default multi-threading is present inside the language itself. Inside the technology itself, this is present. For example, Django. Django by default contains multi-threading. When you go to Java side, servlets you take it, JSP you take it, they are by default contains multi-threading. When you go to ASP.NET, when you go to .NET side also, you are having by default multi-threading is available. That is for Java people servlets, for Python Django, for .NET ASP.NET. These are the technology part you need to learn it. So these things are by default contains what? Multi-threading is by default present. But when you go to product-based companies, there is a big top level companies will ask you this multi-threading. So in project-based, that will not be going to taken place. So let us anyhow, irrespective of the companies what you are attending, if multi-threading concept is coming into picture, what type of concepts you are going to learn it? Number one, types of applications, process-based applications, thread-based applications, we are going to learn it. And the purpose of multi-threading, multitasking versus multi-threading, definition of thread, purpose of thread, and module name required for developing multi-threading applications, module name for date and time, module name for CSV, module name for JSON file, module name for communicating with Oracle database, MySQL database, like that. Module name required for developing multi-threading applications, that is called threading. Threading is a module name. Next, functions and classes in which module? Threading module. What are the functions present in the threading module? I will explain. Programming examples. In today's class, I will talk about up to here. And some examples also I will show you today. So I'm giving the complete introduction to multi-threading. Concept part I will explain. Next day, this module in detail I will explain to you. That is how many number of approaches for developing thread-based applications. What is functional programming with the threading? What is an object-oriented programming with the threading? I will explain. How to create multiple threads and its flows, you will understand. That is the second area that is in tomorrow session we'll do. And next day we will go for deadlock occurrence, which is a very, very important. In OS, if you are a CSC student, computer science student, you will get deadlocks. The deadlock elimination by using what? Synchronization concept. That part I'm going, how to implement a locking in Python. Very, very important that I'm going to tell you. And especially in my classes, myself, I'm adding this content to my curriculum. I'm explaining to you in the classroom. Shall we start up? Right? Online students, tell me, shall we start now? Shall we start the discussion now? Right. So, did you attend today's workshop? Hmm? Attended, ma? Girls? Understood? Hmm? Don't know. Don't know. How many of them did not attend? నేనేమన్నాను అది వర్క్షాప్ మీ ఇష్టం అది అటెండ్ అవ్వచ్చు అటెండ్ లేకపోతే లేకపోవచ్చు. How many of them did not attend? Raise your hands. Okay, only few of them attended. Try to attend. Some extra logics you will get it. Extra hacker rank problems you will get it. Okay, it's up to you because they posted already in the Google Classroom also. Try to attend. Try to utilize. Okay, anyhow, come to the point of it. Multi-threading. These two parts are very, very important. Take one example. I'm going to take it. Before going to that, now I would like to give you one small example here. Try to follow. So I think, what is the topic name? Spell out. Right. Look at. This is my this is my device. This is my device. Take it as it is my laptop. In that, I'm having Windows OS here. Carefully try to understand. I'm having Windows OS here. This Windows OS contains, or any OS you take it. What is the purpose of OS? It provides services during the program execution. That is called allocation manager. It takes the resources back when the program execution completed. So in my laptop, what I opened it, I opened Oracle here. I opened Oracle software here. I opened MySQL here. I opened MySQL here. And I open Edit Plus here, Edit Plus. That is nothing but one text. Notepad, I opened it. Next, I opened it PyCharm here. Next, I opened PyCharm here. Next, I opened one Jupyter notebook. Open Jupyter notebook. Open Jupyter notebook. And open one media player. I opened it. Media player, I opened it. And I opened Python command prompt. I opened it. And Python ideally, I opened it. Python ideally shell. I opened it. Do you know, students? To all these apps which I opened it, to all the apps which I opened in my system, can I open these many apps or not? You can. So your OS will provide services to what? Every app, the services will be provided by the OS. You know, the OS is going to be a central point of all these apps. Services are going to be provided from OS. So the OS is able to provide the services parallelly. The word called parallelly. That is an important here. Parallel execution. That is a very, very important word here. Parallel execution is nothing but concurrent execution. Simultaneous execution is called what? Synonyms. Parallel execution, concurrent execution, simultaneous execution. They are all called what? Similar terms. What is this OS is doing? Providing services to all my apps all at the same time. This is going to be known as in OS level. If you studied in your CSC background, it is known as multitasking. What is this is known as? Multitasking. This is known as multitasking. What is meant by multitasking? The name itself says that a single software is providing the services to all my opened apps. Are they providing services one by one or all at once? All at once. That is known as what execution? Or simultaneous execution or concurrent execution. The way, now I'm going to come to the point back here. The way the OS is providing the services, all of you, the way the OS is providing the service to the Oracle, internally, it creates one flow. One flow will be created. This flow is known as what? Thread. All of you spell out once. Thread. What is the thread? A flow of control created to provide the services to one activity is known as what? Thread. The another flow created for another app, another flow created for another app. Like that, to all apps, a separate flows are created. These separate flows are called what? Threads. What is the separate flows are called? Threads. So, what is the thread definition? A flow of control is called thread. In OS level, what is this concept is known as I said multitasking. This multitasking concept brought into languages. It brought into Java, it brought into .NET, it brought into Python. And they named as what? Multi-threading we can call. What is this is known as? Multi-threading. So what is a multi-threading program? If any program contains multiple threads, then that program is called multi-threaded. All these flows are known as what? Come on, already said. Threads. What is the definition of thread? Flow of control. Online students, what is the thread definition is called? Flow of control. So I'm going to show you one small documentation here. Instead of typing that entire thing, please observe it. Come on, what is this now? Windows 10 OS. It is called which OS? Multitasking OS. What these are all called? Apps which I opened it. These are all called apps opened it. To all apps, what are placed here? Thread 1, thread 2, thread 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. These are known as what? Come on, threads. They are all called what? Threads. What is the definition of thread? A flow of control is called thread. Right. Keep it aside. Now come to one example. You take online students. Tell me up to here. Is it clear about it? Up to here. Is it clear? Respond all of you. Done. Now I am going to take up something like this. Please look at. Suppose you are there in the class. You are there in the class. What are you doing in my class? You means what? One person. That is, I means one person, or I means one person or human being. You are human being here. What are you doing in my class? Tell me. You are called one person. That is nothing but in my point of view, it is called one program. Because multi-threading is very, very complicated, first of all. I'm trying to tell you these examples, provided I'm thinking that it is useful to you. Whether you will understand or not, it depends on your thinking. You are a person. What are you doing in my class? You tell me. What are you doing? అక్కడ చూడండి. What are you doing? Are you seeing on the screen or not? You are seeing on the screen. You are seeing on the screen. It is one activity you are doing. You are seeing on the screen. It is one activity. Next, what are you doing? Come on. You are seeing on the screen. Online students. Number one, you are seeing on the screen. Number one. Number two, what are you doing? Listening. Seeing and listening is one at a time or one by one? You are seeing on the screen, listening. Are you doing at the same time or one by one? same time. That is known as what? Parallel, simultaneous, concurrent. Next, after that, what are you doing? Come on, seeing, listening. Next, huh? Mudu, understanding. What are you doing? Understanding. Are you understanding? Suppose if I'm a student, I will definitely understand. Seeing, listening, understanding, parallel or one by one? Parallel. Next, what are you doing? మీకై మీరే తెలియదు, మీలో మీరే లేరు అసలు. రెస్పాండింగ్, ఆర్ యు రెస్పాండింగ్ ఆర్ నాట్? నేను చెప్తే ఎస్ సార్. ఆర్ యు రెస్పాండింగ్ ఆర్ నాట్? ఎస్ సార్. నౌ, ఆర్ యు మూవింగ్ యువర్ హెడ్ ఆర్ నాట్? యువర్ హెడ్ ఈస్ మూవింగ్ ఆటోమేటికలీ ఆర్ నాట్? దీస్ థింగ్స్ ఆర్ డూయింగ్ వన్ బై వన్ ఆర్ ఆల్ ఎట్ వన్స్? కమాన్. రైట్. నెక్స్ట్, ఆర్ యు టేకింగ్ బ్రీతింగ్ ఆర్ నాట్? ఆర్ యు టేకింగ్ బ్రీతింగ్ ఆర్ నాట్? ఎస్. Is it doing automatically or one by one? Taking breath, releasing the breath. You are taking automatically or not? That means in your brain, there is a separate flow of control is created to see, separate flow of control is to listen, separate flow of control is to understand. For every activity in your brain, a separate flow is created. These separate flows are called what? Threads. That separate activity listening is an operation. Operations in Python performed by using what? Operations in performed by using functions, methods, operations, and providing the reusability of the operation performed by what? Functions. Functions are used for performing operation and provides code reusability. So how do you provide code reusability and all? By using functions. So functions contains the logic, that logic. So here I'm going to write it: x function, y function, z function, etc. functions you are taking. So many number of functions you are taking. All these functions are executed parallelly. To execute each function, today we are going to create what? T1, T2, T3, T4, T5. N number of threads I am creating. Each thread is meant for what now? Each thread is meant for what purpose now? Come on to the point of it. Net is little bit slow. Online students, come on. Each thread is meant for performing operation. How many functions I'm having? 6, 7 functions are there. How we used to call the functions generally? One after the other. How they are executing? One by one they are executing. But today what I want to do? All at once I want to execute. To do all at once, what should I do? Muddu, you are listening the class, seeing on the board, understanding, interacting, doing all these things. After seeing, you will listen. Seeing and listening parallelly. Parallelly. To do parallelly, what is happening? I require one thread is created, one more thread is required. One more thread is required. These threads are executing parallelly or not? If you want to achieve the parallelism, which concept is compulsory required? Threads are required. Each thread is meant for performing operation. Operations means it is an overall one kind of what? Function. Inside that, we are writing some block of statements. In simple word, when I am having x function, y function, z function like that, to execute all my functions parallelly, I will go for which concept now? Thread concept I will go for it. There are two definitions required that will make you perfect. Number one, definition required. Number two, purpose required. If you know both of them, it will be more easy for you to understand. What is the purpose of thread? Definition of thread, you tell me. Flow of control. What is the purpose of thread? To perform the operation whose logic defined inside the function. From now onwards, every function executed by whom? Thread. In the functions time only I want to tell, but I am not saying that because that time you don't know what is the meaning of thread. So here function and then what? Thread. There is a lot of relationship between both of them. From now onwards, every function executed by whom? Thread. Welcome function also executed by thread only. I will show you that threading internally. Are you following me now? One more example. Online students. One more example. As a teacher, what I am doing in my class, tell me, is a teacher. Teacher is called what? One Python program. What I am doing in my class, tell me. Number one thread is created for teaching. One thread is created to teach. One separate thread is created. Number two, one more thread is created to think in which order I need to teach. Number three, one more thread is created to write also. I am explaining, I am thinking, and I am writing. And I am going to see what? I am seeing that who is listening, who is talking, and who is understanding. And I am seeing the chart box also. I am seeing the chart box also. And I am going to take the breathe also. I am taking the breathe also. These many number of functions. Am I doing at same time or one by one? Same time. So this same time activity performing all at once is performed by which concept? Threads concept it is performing. These kind of things are performed by what? Threads. So what is the purpose of thread? Tell me. To perform the operation whose logic defined inside the function. So I'm having six functions are there. By default, those functions will execute one by one or all at once? Huh? All at once or one by one? All at once. All at once execution is called what? Multi-threading. Multi? If I don't use multi-threading, how those functions will execute? One by one. What is the use of multi-threading nowadays? To do the concurrent execution. What execution? Take an example of ATMs. So ATM earlier, before ATMs, how the people used to go to the bank? They need to go to the bank manually. They used to stand one behind of another. That is called what? Sequential. Correct or not? What we want to do? Service to be distributed across everywhere. Parallelism I want. You nobody will go to the bank, they will withdraw the money wherever they like it. What is that concept called? Parallelism. Next, you take how you are ordering nowadays the groceries, any food and all those things, how you are ordering through apps. The apps are going to connect to whom? Server side. Their applications are going to process. That is nothing but service is going to be distributed. Nobody going there and nobody standing in the queues and getting the services. I think you are getting it. So what is the concept behind of all these apps development? Multi-threading is available. So what is the use of multi-threading? To provide concurrent execution. What is the before concurrent execution? Which model of execution was there? Sequential execution. What is the sequential execution gives you? One by one execution is known as sequential. Concurrent execution means what? All at once. Which one will take less time? All at once. Nowadays, total internet you take it. Gmail is called one application. How many people are using it one moment? Crores and millions and trillions. How they are accessing one by one? All at once. All at once. All at once means inside what concept they defined it? Multi-threading. Google you take it. One app used by millions and trillions. Which concept was used? Multi-threading. So behind of total apps today, which concept was available? Multi-threading. So multi-threading is one of the specialized form of multitasking. Multitasking was the concept of OS brought into which one? Python, Java, .NET, everything on what name? Multi-threading. So multi-threading is a specialized form of multitasking. So what is the definition of thread? A flow of control is called thread. What is the purpose of thread? Thread is used for to perform an operation whose logic defined inside the method or function. So two things you need to get it. Flow of control is called thread. Purpose is to execute operation concurrently whose logic defined inside the function or method. That is going to be known as definition of a thread and then purpose of a thread. Is these two things clear? Right. Suppose you are driving a bike. You are driving the bike. Once you start that bike, what you will do? Think like a multi-threading programmer. Once you start a bike, what you will do? Or once class is over, what you will do? You will go out of the class. Next, what you will do? You will watch the road. That is to go to your home or hostel, you will watch it. That is number one, flow control is created to watch the road, way. That you are watching the way, the route you are watching. Number two, next, what are you doing immediately? You will take the phone. You will take the phone and you will call somebody. Correct? Correct or not? Yes. That is nothing but what are you doing? Your way is continuing. One thread is created to walk. One more thread is created to speak with your friend. Correct? And one more thing is what? You are eating something also. Eating something, talking to the friend, and tasting also. Tasting, walking, speaking to a friend, taking breath. How many flows are there in your brain? Multiple flows are there. That is nothing but by default, a human being is thinking what way? Parallelly, the thinking is going on. That is known as which kind of concept it is? Multitasking, like how to implement through coding. That is what I'm going to say. అదే మన కాన్సెప్ట్ ఇప్పుడు. That is what is our concept is. In your body, all organs are functioning parallelly or one by one? Parallelly. There is nothing but by default, the human being is going to contain which mechanism? Multitasking is going to perform. While thinking, at 1 o'clock, what to eat, where to go, how to go, all these things you are thinking or not. That is known as what? These examples we should not tell in interview. You have to go for definition of threat, purpose of threat. These 2 points are very important. What is the definition of threat? Flow of control is called threat. What is the purpose of threat? To perform an operation whose logic defined inside the function. Do you know functions? Functions tells amigo. Do you know functions or not? Chepanda. What is the definition of function? Subprogram of main program is called function. How many functions I am having? 6 functions are there. Doing how many activities? 6 activities. I want to do all at once. All at once I want to do. Which is the best concept to use? Multi-threading. Without multi-threading, if I use how they are going to execute? One by one. So by default, without multi-threading, what type of operation? Sequential execution. Multi-threading gives you what? Concurrent execution. Which one is the fastest execution? Concurrent execution is the fastest execution. That is provided by which concept? Multi-threading. Come, students, online students, up to here, is it clear? Respond it. Up to here, is it clear? Now, I am going to enter into C programming. You take it. C programming. Slowly, I am coming to coding. I will show you with the timing, I will measure and I will show. C programming. There is a X function is available, Y function is available, Z function is available. These are the definitions. Void. I'm not going to write the syntax. Void like this, having void. This is called void. Definition like this. This is called void here. Definition like that. Like this. Now I'm going to call main function. What function is here? X of. What is the next function? Y of. Next function is Z of. How the C program will execute? How the C program will execute? And నిద్రపోతున్నాడు చూడండి థ్రెడ్డింగ్ గురించి చెప్తుంటే నిద్రపోతున్నాడు అప్లైడ్ థ్రెడ్ లే మళ్ళీ థ్రెడ్డింగ్ ముందు స్లీపింగ్ నేను ఇప్పుడే థ్రెడ్డింగ్ గురించి మాట్లాడుతున్నా ఈ స్లీపింగ్ లిజనింగ్ డ్రీమింగ్ ఆల్సో హౌ మెనీ థ్రెడ్స్ ఈ క్రియేటెడ్ బ్రీతింగ్ ఆల్సో హౌ మెనీ థ్రెడ్స్ క్రియేటెడ్ ఫోర్ థ్రెడ్స్ క్రియేటెడ్ ఈజ్ అన్ ఎగ్జాంపుల్ ఆఫ్ మల్టీ థ్రెడింగ్ పో వెనుక నిల్చుకోవచ్చు నిద్రపోతున్నాం కదా ఆల్రెడీ ఐ సీన్ ఇట్ ఇదే ఫోర్త్ టైం ఐఎమ్ సీయింగ్ because this is an important chapter. Try to listen. కూర్చొని నిలబడి స్టాండ్ అడ్జసెంట్ కొద్దిగా వాళ్ళు నిద్రపోతారు మంచి వాళ్ళు నిద్ర నువ్వు కూడా మంచోడివే నిద్ర అనేది ఎవరికైనా వస్తుంది మంచోడికైనా వస్తుంది చెడ్డోనికైనా వస్తుంది ఎవరికైనా వస్తుంది తెలుగు హిందీయా తెలుగు హిందీ good or bad people will get all of them will get sleep only. Sleep is one of the God given gift. Okay. Right. Try to listen. Actually, Hindi student will not sleep anytime. Actually, according to my up to last month, they have 100 marks in my brain. 100 marks I used to give them. At 2 months onwards, my opinion changed. They are got almost 90%, 90 marks only I'm giving them. Because these days they are getting sleeping in the class. They are getting sleeping in the class. Example, I thought that he is a Telugu student. He is a Hindi student. First time I'm unable. Once your C program execution starts, do you know what is happening? One thread my functions one by one. A single thread is executing all my functions at a time. This is known as what? C++ languages are based applications we can call. Slowly, I'm coming to the coding level. Process based application. Spell out process based application. In process based application, how many threads will be there? Only one thread will be there. This is by default, only one thread will be there. I'll show the coding also. Only one thread will be present. Only provided. Which execution it will be provided? Sequence provided. Number two, since it is providing sequential execution, it will take what execution? Less execution or more execution? More execution time it will take. More execution time it will take. Because one thread only will need to perform X, Y, Z, etc. And one more thing is what? Since it is taking more time, it is treated as what? Heavyweight component we can call. Which component? Heavyweight component it will take. Heavyweight component it is considered as a heavyweight component. Heavyweight component means what? A person who is a 200 kgs weight, a person with a 75 kgs weight want to go to fifth floor. Who will go fast? Suppose I am there. I will go within 20-25 seconds. A 200 persons weight, he will take 5 minutes to come to the fifth floor. Why? He will stop at footrest place. Again, he will go, again rest, again rest, again rest. Because I'm seeing sometimes I'll go to some video room sometimes. When I'm seeing you people, you will say lot of breath you are taking to go to the fifth floor. So, heavyweight means what? Taking more time to go to the fifth floor is called heavyweight. For example, so if my program is executing so less time it is taking, it is going to be known as what? Lightweight component. If it is taking more time to execute, it is known as heavyweight component. So, want to sleep? Sit down. So, come here, come here. Bring your chair. Uh, you sit here. Fast. Here, here. Once if I decide, you have to follow that. Right? Come here. Bring your chair. Fast. Don't waste my time. It is for your good health only, I am saying. All nears and dears will sit very close to the teacher. Move for, move for. That is a non-local area. Move. No. Keep your bag there. No. Sit, relax. No need to write anything, just to see on the screen. Still move forward. Uh, like, like that. Now you sleep. No problem. Because the local area, teacher area will be there. This is a red zone. This is very danger zone. Now coming to this, what are the properties of a single threaded modeling language or process based application? Contains only one thread, provides a sequential execution, takes more time, considered as heavyweight component. Now I will go to online students. Thread based application, I want to do it. There are two types of application: process based application. Next is called what? Thread based application. I want to go for it. Come to Python language only come. In thread based applications, there are two differentiations are available. అది నేను ఒక డయాగ్రామ్ చూపిస్తాను మీకు. I will show you process based. One small diagram I will show you. One small diagram. Nothing is there in the diagram. Just I want to show. C++ language execution environment. This is a main thread, main function is written. X function, it will go to X function, execute it, come back, execute it, come back, and then coming like this. This is known as what? Sequential execution. Contains a single thread, takes more time, heavyweight component. This is known as what? Come on, single threaded modeling languages are process based applications. Understand? Right. Now I'm going to enter into the further process based application. This is multi-threading, thread based application I'm going to introduce. In thread based application, there are two varieties again. One is, this is Python, you take it. Python programming language, Python programming. In that, this is a thread based language actually. In that, default environment will be there. Programmatic environment will be there. All of them I will show the coding students. Programmatic environment I am going to show. Programmatic environment. What are my functions? X function, Y function, Z function. Z function, K functions are there with me. You know, in the main program, I'm going to write what? X here, function call, Y function call, Z function call, K function call, I'm going to take it. Now tell me, this is called a main program entries. Who will execute the Python program? Who will execute the Python program? PVM. ఏదో చెప్తున్నావు లాస్ట్ లో. హూ విల్ ఎగ్జిక్యూట్ పైథాన్ ప్రోగ్రామ్ కేవీఆర్ సార్ అని చెప్తున్నావు. నువ్వు నాకు తెలుసు నువ్వు ఏం చెప్తావు. హూ విల్ ఎగ్జిక్యూట్ పైథాన్ ప్రోగ్రామ్ అంటే కేవీఆర్ సార్ విల్ ఎగ్జిక్యూట్. చెప్పావు ఎక్కడన్నా. హూ విల్ ఎగ్జిక్యూట్ పైథాన్ ప్రోగ్రామ్? పీవీఎం. హూ విల్ కంపైల్ పైథాన్ ప్రోగ్రామ్? పైథాన్ ఇంటర్ప్రిటర్. మొద్దు. బిగినింగ్ డేస్, if you look at the diagram, source code submitted to Python interpreter, line by line compilation, generating bytecode submitted to PVM. PVM will read the bytecode, converted into machine understandable code, which is understandable by OS and processor, and finally gives the result. Diagram చెప్పాను ఒకటి. షెడ్ ఆర్ నాట్? ఏది గుర్తుండదు. Stateless. So coming to this place, once Python program starts executing, who will be coming into picture? Which component will come into picture? PVM. PVM will come into picture. The PVM, first time I'm stating to you, it initiates one thread. It initiates one thread. PVM will execute the program. That PVM will initiate one thread, student. Will initiate one thread. The thread it is initiating. The X is going to be initiated by this thread. It is something like one small example. How you can imagine that? You are writing the notes, right? Writing the notes or not, I don't know. Generally, if you are sincere, you will write the notes. You are writing the notes with what? You are writing the notes with what? Come on. Pen. But it is not with pen. Inside the pen, what is there? Refill is there. So you are writing with pen, with refill. Refill. But you are not taking refill and writing. But refill is there inside the pen. So you are writing with what originally? Refill. Refill is a part of what? Pen. Pen is something like what? Your PVM. Inside the PVM, who is there? Thread. Like that, inside the pen, who is there? Refill. Refill is called what? Thread. Pen is called what? PVM. Like that, you can project by yourself. Can you imagine that? Now, can you imagine that? Ema Modu, can you imagine? మీరు అనుకుంటున్నారా అని అర్థం. కెన్ యూ ప్రొజెక్ట్ లైక్ దట్? మనకి ఇంగ్లీష్ రాదు, ఏమి రాదు. మీకే కాదు, మీ సీనియర్స్ అంతా అంతే. శంకర్ దాదా ఎంబీబీఎస్లు. కమ్ టు ద పాయింట్ ఆఫ్ ఇట్. హియర్ ఐఎమ్ గోయింగ్ టు టేక్ అప్. Here I'm going to take up this PVM. Will initiate the thread. That thread will go to this X. That thread will go to X. It will execute. Come back to the main program. It will go and execute all these functions. Will execute one by one. Finally, this is going to be comes under single thread only available even in Python also by default. That thread name is called. That single thread is having one name whose name is called main thread. Spell out all of you. What is the thread name? So by default, how many threads are there in Python program? Only one thread. What is its name? Main thread. If you are coming to my interview, first question I will ask you. Is Python is a multi-threaded or not multi-threaded? You have to say it is a multi-threaded. By default, how many threads are there? Only one thread. You have to print that name and you have to print the count and you have to show programmatically. So by default, how many threads will be there? Only one thread. What is its name? Main thread. The main thread only will execute all my functions present in the program. That is called the default environment of Python. Programmatic environment of Python I am going to show. Look at X function, Y function, Z function, K function I am going to take it. K function I am going to take. How many functions I have? 4. So what is happening? X function you are calling, Y function you are calling, Z function you are calling, K function you are calling. This is called what? PVM. PVM is going to initiates with what? Already said to you. PVM initiates with what? ఇప్పుడే కదా మొద్దు చెప్పింది. Main thread. PVM initiates with a single thread. What is the single thread called? Main thread. By default, PVM contains how many threads? Only one. What is its name? Main thread. I will show all these things in the coding within few minutes. This main thread, programmatic environment, I have already seen that taking lot of time here. I don't want this sequential execution. I want which execution? Parallel execution I want. Parallel execution. In Python, I will create one separate flow to execute what function? X function. I will create another separate flow to execute Y function. I will create one more separate flow to execute Z function. I will create one more separate flow to execute another ZK function. These separate flows are called what? These separate flows are called what? Threads. What the flow of control is called? Thread. What is the purpose of thread? To execute the logic defined inside the function. Purpose of thread is to perform the operation whose logic defined inside the functions. How many functions I have? 4. How many threads I am creating? 4. And these threads are called what? Subthreads we can call. Spell out. Subthreads. Subthreads are executing what? The functions which you have defined in your program. This you have to plan out. How many functions I am having? 4. How many threads I am creating? 4. Creating 4 threads are nothing but creating 4 objects of each class. Thread class. Creating 4 lists are nothing but creating 4 objects of list class. L1 is equal to list of, L2 is equal to list of, L3 is equal to, L4 is equal to. E1 is equal to employee of, E2 is equal to oops. In this, we have a class name called thread class. What is the class name? Every class belongs to what? Every class belongs to what? Object. T bonding, back this one. ఎందుకు మీకు వేస్ట్ టైం వేస్ట్. ఎవరీ క్లాస్ బిలాంగ్స్ టు మాడ్యూల్. ఎవరీ క్లాస్ బిలాంగ్స్ టు ఆబ్జెక్ట్ అంటే నాకు దిమ్మ తిరిగిపోయింది అసలు. మీరు వేస్ట్ అసలు. అట్లా చెప్తే ఈయన every class belongs to what module. Class is a collection of data members. So much story I said. Every class belongs to object. అసలు ఏంటది? ఏమైనా ఉందా అసలు? నాకు మామూలుగా ఉండదు అసలు. బ్రెయిన్ ఉన్నాడు ఎవడు చెప్పాడు అట్లా. Every class belongs to what module. Using class we will create an object. What is an object? I already said. To create an object, a class is required. Every class belongs to what is object? What is that? Mindless answer. Very poor answer. So every class belongs to module. Which module? Threading. Dot what? Thread. So how many objects created? T1, T2, T3, T4. These are all called what? Subthreads. What these are all called? Subthreads. Now I am writing subthreads. These subthreads are the part of what thread? Main thread. So PVM creates the main thread. Since I have four functions, I will create four threads. And when I dispatch them, these four threads will execute four functions. And finally gives you what result? Less time will take or more time will take. Here the time is very more and here the time is very, very less. Because each one is going to do its own function. So programmatically, how many threads will be there? One or more will be there. More number of subthreads I can create. So programmatically, how many threads will be there? Two threads will be there. One is called a main thread. Number two is called subthreads will be there. The subthreads can be depends on my coding. That many number of subthreads will be planned. I hope you are understanding my conclusion. By default, there is only one thread will be there. Programmatically, there will be more number of threads will be there. By default, only one subthread, only one thread. That thread will execute main program statements as well as what? Functions also will be executed by the single thread only. What about the programmatic environment? Main program entries are executed by which thread? Main thread. Subthreads are executing what? Functions. Programmatically, there are two threads. One is main thread, subthreads. What main thread will do? Execute main program entries. You know what is the main program entries? Who will execute the functions? Subthreads. Suppose no subthreads. Who will execute? No subthreads means it is a default environment. Who will execute the total program, main program entries and functions? Main thread only. Simple. Your parents are alone in your home. There are 10 activities are there. What that person parents will do? They will execute the 10 activities one by one. Correct or not? Suppose the parents are there, 10 kids are also there, 10 activities are there. Who will do the 10 activities? 10 kids will do. Are you following it? Who will schedule that execution? Parent thread will create it. I think you are understanding the simplest part of it. I will show you one simple example, diagrammatic representation here. The same thing what I said to you. This is called the default Python default environment. There I'm going to take it main thread, will execute my functions one by one here, will execute my functions one by one here. This is going to be called what? Come on. Single thread is getting executed. PVM by default contains which thread? Main thread. The concept I'm covering to write the programming perfectly. Environment. PVM, main thread, X function program, and my subprograms are what? X function, Y function, Z function, K function. These many number of functions are planned by executing how many threads? Four threads. Each thread is going to be known as what? Subthread 1, subthread 2, subthread 3, subthread 4. All these subthreads are going to be executing what? T1, T2, T3, T4 are executing X, Y, Z, K. Parallelly, these are executing. So in this case, what are you understanding? It is called thread-based application. Default, what is happening? I said. Programmatically, what happens? I said. Programmatically, how many threads will be there? Two threads will be there. Number one, main thread. Number two, subthreads. If subthread and main thread is available, what is the role of execution? If subthreads and main thread is available, what is the role of execution? Main thread will execute the main program entries only. Subthreads will execute the functions. If it is the default environment, what main thread will do? It will execute main program entries plus functions. One person can execute everything. If there is a one person and many other persons are there, the distribution of the work will be done. I hope you are understanding. Online students, I hope you are following me. I'm going to show you the example now. I'm going to enter into that because when I'm explaining, even one more Hindi student is sleeping. So then I understood that I should take that. Telugu student and Hindi students, both of them are same. I am నిద్రపోతున్నాడు ఇప్పుడు. Where I think that is having good opinion, he is also sleeping. And there is no fear in the life. At most, what will happen? No job will be coming. So Zomato is there, Swiggy is there, Blinkit is there. So many opportunities nowadays. You can work anywhere. That type of feeling. So coming to the point back here, నేను ఒక గెట్ టుగెదర్ ఉంటే అక్కడికి వెళ్ళాను నేను. ఒక పర్సన్ చెప్తున్నాడు, ఒక స్టూడెంట్ మీలాగా డిస్కషన్ నేను అప్పుడప్పుడు వింటూ ఉంటాను. దీస్ డేస్ ఇన్ హైదరాబాద్ ఎనీబడి కెన్ సర్వైవ్ ఈ సేమ్. Not necessary to work in software field, any field we can survive. He is saying easily we can get 30,000 rupees. He is saying some examples. What he is doing? He is going to deliver the Amazon goods will come now in the colonies. He is distributing that work. He is saying he is getting 1,000 it seems. He is saying by himself to some group of people are there. అలాంటి మాటలు వినడానికి చాలా మంది రెడీగా ఉంటారు. వై? మొత్తం అదే కాబట్టి. So same birds will go to the same nest. So all of them gathering there and listening his words. Like he is like a guru. And these are all called students. So this like mindset is different. So coming to the point back, here I'm going to take up the types of applications I'm showing. Try to follow. All of you try to read out. The purpose of multi-threading. Every topic will have the purpose. Multi-threading is to provide concurrent execution or simultaneous execution or parallel processing. That is called executing all at once in a same program. We have two types of applications: process-based, thread-based. One is process-based application, single-threaded modeling language. Process-based applications contain single thread. Process-based applications provides sequential execution. That is a one by one. Process-based applications takes more execution time. Consider as a heavyweight components. Example CCPP. Next is called what? Thread-based application. Contains by default single thread. Programmatically, we can create multiple threads. Thread-based applications provides both a sequential execution and concurrent execution. Both. Sequential it will provide. When sequential, the default activity. This one. Default activity. I'll show the code now. I will measure the execution time also. Most powerful examples I'll show. Taking what? Less execution time. Our main preference is concurrency. And consider as a lightweight components. All these languages are comes under thread-based. Now I'm going to enter into the thread-based application introduction I'm going to give. So try to read out whatever I explained it. Same thing I'm putting in the notes. Purpose. Same. Concurrent execution. Concurrent execution is nothing but executing all at once. I'll tell you what is the meaning of all at once very slowly. Advantage of concurrent execution is it is taking a very simple, less time is taking. That is the basic advantage of multi-threading. The present total world is running on what? Thread-based technologies only. So if a Python program contains multiple threads, then it is called multi-threaded program. Multiple threads are there, then it is called a multi-threading program. Next, I am going to enter into definition of thread. What is the definition of thread? A flow of control is called thread. Next, the purpose of thread is that to perform certain operation whose logic developed in functions or methods concurrently. That is the purpose of thread. Easy. The purpose of thread is to perform certain operation whose logic defined in functions or methods. If it is a functional programming, it is called functions. If it is an oops, it is called as a methods. So I hope it is clear. So who will execute functions from now onwards? Threads. Threads. Function or thread are interrelated to each other. You want to watch the road when you are going to hostel. Who will look at and who will follow the route? A thread will follow. Your brain will create one thread and it will follow the route. Who will take the breath? The thread which is following the route cannot take the breath. Brain will create one more thread to take the breath. Are you following? You are eating something. Your brain will create one more thread to eat and to taste. It will create one more thread. That means in our brain, how many flows will be there? Multiple flows will be there. When you are riding the bike, watching the front, changing the gear, increasing the speed. Next is what? Seeing the road and talking in the mobile, correct? And seeing left side, right side like that. All activities will do or not. That is called what type of activity it is? Multi-threading. అలా చెప్పకూడదు. When you go to interview, you don't tell like that. If I tell like that, they will ask my name, who is your faculty. But don't tell my name at least. మీకు ఏం గుర్తుండదులే కానీ సో మీకై మీరే గుర్తుండరు ఒకసారి. సో come to the point of it. Definition of a thread. By default, every program contains single thread whose name is main thread and it provides which execution? Sequential execution. Next, programmatically in a Python program, we can create multiple sub or child threads. How to create? With a thread class. How easy to create the list object, tuple object, set object. How easy to create the student object with our class. Like that, we can create our own objects using thread class. What is the purpose of creating thread? Concurrent execution. Concurrent execution advantage is less execution time will be taking all the times. And whose purpose is that? To execute operations whose logic written in functions or methods concurrently. Hence, programmatically, there are two types of threads. One is main thread, one more is subthread or child thread. Come on. When Python program execution starts, main thread is created or initiated by PVM. And whose role and the role of main thread is to execute main program statements and monitor the execution status of subthreads. Execution status of what? Subthreads. That means if subthread will present. If subthread is present, whose status will be monitored by the main thread. Like a parent and whose children. Children's execution status is monitored by parent thread. That is the main thread. If subthreads and main threads exist in the Python program, the main thread only will execute main program statements and subthreads executes functions concurrently. If there are no subthreads, if subthreads does not exist in the Python program, main thread only will execute main program statements and functions. Combined together, everything is executed by main program threads only. The main thread only will execute. So subthreads always executes operations whose logic written in functions or methods concurrently. So out of this entire thing, purpose of multi-threading, how many threads are there? Each thread will do what? If only main thread will do what will happen? If subthreads and main threads will be there, what will happen? I just said in this case. Online students, is it clear about all these things? Now let me put some questions here. What are the questions here? Process-based application takes what time to execute? More time to take. Why it will take more time? It contains single thread. I will ask question. నేనే ఆన్సర్ చెప్తాను మీరు వినండి ఆర్ ఐ విల్ సీ యువర్ ఆన్సర్ ఇఫ్ ఇట్ ఈస్ నాట్ అప్రోప్రియట్ ఐ విల్ సే మీరు ఎవరైనా తెలిసిన వాళ్ళు ఉంటే చెప్పండి లేకుంటే నిద్రపోండి వాట్ ఇస్ ద పర్పస్ ఆఫ్ థ్రెడ్ బేస్డ్ అప్లికేషన్ టు గెట్ ద కాంకరెంట్ ఎగ్జిక్యూషన్ ఇన్ థ్రెడ్ బేస్డ్ అప్లికేషన్ బై డిఫాల్ట్ హౌ మెనీ థ్రెడ్స్ ఆర్ దేర్ సింగిల్ థ్రెడ్ వాట్ ఇస్ ఇట్స్ నేమ్ main thread Programmatically, how many threads will be there? Two. Programmatically, Moddu, last two. One and now. ONE. I will see your lips reading. ONE or two? Two. What are their names? Main thread, sub threads. If only main thread is there in the Python program, who will execute main program entries and functions? Main thread only. If main thread and subthreads are there, both of them in the Python program, what main thread will execute? Main program entries. What subthreads will execute? Functions. Where the division will be there. Which function for which thread, which function for which thread, I will show in the syntax. So I will write the code. Online students, is it clear about this diagram? This diagram, this diagram. I think this is clear about it. Now I am going to enter into the small coding. I will explain with the timing and all those things. I will go. Let us start understanding of one more kind of default thread flow I want to show. Default thread flow. I will go to the default thread flow. How they are going to be default thread flow is going to come. New program I am going program for showing program for showing program for showing program for showing internal flow of what default threads. Default threads I'm going to show. What is the default internal flow of default threads? I'm going to say def welcome off. Welcome off. Please follow. I'm going to write it thread name and I will write it welcome function. Just I'm writing dot format of how do you print the thread name? Threading dot already set to you current underscore thread dot name. It is to print which thread is executing welcome function. Similarly, one more function I will execute. What is the next function? Hello function. Next function is hello function. Executed by what? One more function. One more function I will write it hi. This is called hello. This is called hello function. This is called hi function. These are all called my functions which is written. And I am printing which thread will execute the function. I said there is a lot of bonding between function and what? Thread. Where every function executed by what? Thread. Eating. When you are eating, one flow is created by your brain. What that flow will tell to brain? How sweet it is, how good it is, how quality it is, whether your stomach full or not, that thread will give the signal to your brain. Correct? So brain uses that flow. Correct or not? Right. Something like that. Coming to main program, here I am going to write it. Main program execution started. Program execution started. Started. Who will execute the program execution that I want to print it? What is that? How do you print? Threading dot, threading dot, current underscore, current underscore, current underscore what? Thread of. Dot what? Name. Name. Thread underscore name. So next I'm going to start with welcome off. Welcome off. Next is called hello off. Next is called hi off. Now program execution stopped. Here I'm writing program execution stopped. Stopped. So I'm going to write it. This is the one I wrote it, students. What did you understand about that? Program execution starts from which line? Which line? Line number which line? line number 10th. Line number 10, it will start functions level if you remember. So it is printing which thread? Main thread. What is the next function? Welcome. Welcome means it will go to where? Welcome function. Executing, printing the thread. Which thread? Main thread. After that, coming to where again? Main program. Hello. It will go to which function again? Hello function. Execute it and then coming back to where? Hi function. It will go to hi function again. It will execute hi function. It will come to line number 14. I think you are following. So single thread is printing all my functions. It is known as what? Default environment of Python program. So go to that. Here I am going to write it. Default threads, thread flow, default thread flow example.py. Default thread flow example.py. So go to the location. Here I will take up 11 a.m. under the threads. Under that threads. There I am going to save it. Come to the execution. Online students. PY C students. What is happening? Import threading. Import what? Threading. Threading is a module. So you see that program execution started. Which thread? Program execution stopped by which thread? Hello function, hi function, welcome function executed by which thread only? So this indicates what? This indicates what did you understand through this program? దీని నుంచి మీకు ఏమర్థమైంది మొదలు? This from this I understand that here I have a lot of functions are there. There is only one thread is there. That one thread is executing main program statements as well as my functions also executed by single thread. That is what I am understanding from this program. That is called your observation. That is called my concept here. This is called my concept. Thread-based application by default contains what? Single thread. That is called single thread called main thread. So here you see when the program contains, here I am going to write it. If here I am writing program at by default there exists a single thread whose name is main thread. It provides a sequential execution. Here, when the program's execution starts, main thread initiated by PVM and whose the role of main thread is that execute main program statements and monitor the execution status of subthreads if subthread is present. But here no subthreads. If subthreads and main threads will present in the same program, main program will executed by the main program statements executed by main thread. Subthreads will execute the functions. If subthreads does not exist in the Python program, main thread only will execute main program statements and what? Functions also executed by same thing only, main thread only. That is what is the program shows here. That is what the statement shown practically. So what I am explaining, I am going to show. Concept is very important to understand the coding. మన వాళ్ళంతా ఏం చూస్తారు? ఏమి నేర్చుకోకుండా కోడింగ్ చూస్తారు ఎట్లా ఏం రాదు అలాగే they don't understand anything only if you see coding. If you want to get a coding, you need to know concept. If you don't know concept, coding will not come. But in college, what concept they'll explain? Blackboard, white chalk piece, or blackboard with a blue marker. రెండు ఉంటాయి ఇప్పుడు. చెత్త they will explain, and you don't know coding. Because of that only student is feeling very difficult in coding. Actually, coding is a dead easy, provided when you know concept. So from concept only I am explaining the coding. Online students, is the output is clear for you? Is this program and output is clear for you? Everybody need to respond. Now I will show you subthreads I am going to execute. Welcome function who will execute? KVR will execute. Hello function who will execute? Himanshu will explain. Himanshu will execute. Hi function will execute what? Soumya will execute. How many people will execute? Three people will execute three functions. And a main thread is executed by main thread only. You cannot change that name. Understand? So I have three friends. Three friends, I am giving three works. I am going to take care about other activity, main program activities I am going to do. Am I getting so fast execution or not? So let us go to the program. So I'm going to take up the same example. I'm going to show you which environment, programmatic environment I'm going to show. Program for showing internal flow of what subthreads with a default thread. With a default thread. This is a default thread only. Default thread only. Here I'm going to write it. So here I'm going to write it subthreads. Subthreads flow execution. Subthread flow example. Welcome function. Same to same. Now I'm going to enter into the leave this. How many? What is this environment? Programmatic approach or not? How many functions I am having? Three. I will create how many subthreads? Hmm, three. Earlier, three things I only used to do. Takes a lot of time. Today I'm calling three friends of mine to do three activities. Correct or not? You have some function in your home. There are multiple activities to do. You will call your relatives to do multiple activities or not? Why are you calling your the relatives? Why not you do? Because in a short span of time, you cannot do multiple activities at the same time. You need some support of execution. That's why you are creating what? Subthreads. Come on. Create, create three subthreads. Three subthreads. Come on. How do you create three subthreads? How do you create three list objects? L1 is equal to list of, L2 is equal to list of, L3 is equal to list of. T1 is equal to thread of, thread of default constructor present into module. Every class of Python belongs to module. What is the module name? Threading. Yesterday, date time dot date time of. Threading dot thread of. If you know whoops, you can understand. If you say whoops is your whoops, ఇక మనల్ని ఎవడు బాగా చేయలేడు. అది డాక్ టైల్ అయిపోతుంది అది. When I straight, it will be like this only all the times. Right? Take care. And this T1 is created, which will monitor the execution status of what? Welcome off. T1 is equal to, T1 is assigned, T1 is designed to execute which function? My target function for T1 is what? Welcome. In that, I will use a keyword argument. What is the keyword argument? Fixed parameter target is equal to, target is equal to, target is a keyword argument. Already keyword arguments concept completed. Of what function? Welcome. Welcome you need to write. Welcome. This is the T1 created whose target function is to execute which one? Welcome. Like that, you create what? T2. T2 object is targeted to execute what? Hello. How do you do that? Threading dot, threading dot, what is that? Dot thread of what? Target is equal to, come on, hello off, hello off. Are you following this? So next, what is the next one? T3 is equal to threading dot. What is the threading here? Module. Thread of, what is this now? Target is equal to hi. These are called what? Each thread is targeted. You will tell to a relative, relative, you please do this. Relative 2, do this. Relative T3, do this. What is T1, T2, T3 are called? Relative 1, relative 2, relative 3 are what? Objects. They have some name now. They have some name now. Here, what is T1? Here, T1 is subthread object. Subthread object whose name is, whose name, whose default name, whose default name is a subthread. It is called what? Thread 2. Here, this is called 3. This is called T3 is called what? Subthread. thread 3. Are you following this? How many threads are created? 3 threads are created. They are ready. They are just like ready. What you will say? These are just created. The bus is created to target to Bangalore. The T2 is targeted to go to what? Mumbai. The T3 is targeted to go to Chennai. All passengers are full. Next, what you will do? Depot manager will say what? Start. Hey, ma'am, Madhu, come on. Train will be there. All passengers are full. What they will do? Start. So here I am going to write it. Dispatch. Dispatch the subthreads. Dispatch the subthreads. To dispatch the subthreads in T1 object, T1, T2, T3 are the objects of which class? Thread class. In thread class, there is one instance method is available called what? Start. T1 dot start. T2 dot start. T2 dot start. T3 dot start. T3 dot start. T1 dot start. T2 dot start. T3 dot start. Start, start, start. When I say start, 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 each thread will go to the target function. What are the target functions? Welcome 1, thread 1, thread 2, thread 3 that will be printed. These default names will be printed for subthreads. Are you following this? Something I will write, you don't worry about it. Start is called one instance method of thread class. You know what is an instance method, which I was already explained it in the class. You don't worry about the join. Tomorrow class I will explain what is the join method. Right now, don't worry. Execute this. See that I'm going to give you the clarity on this area. So save this code, execute. See here, py you are going to get. Look at program execution started by whom? Execution ended by whom? But welcome function executed by thread 1, thread 2, thread 3. How many threads? 3 threads. 3 threads. Suppose these are called my functions are independently executed by threads only. Now with the timing I want to show. Online students, are you following? This output will make you to understand my functions are executed by these threads. Now I'm going to enter into the with the timing I will show with the timing. Beautiful. So I'm going to take up one more program. I will say go to that one more program. I am saying here others here Python here where I'm going to write program for showing the internal flow of default thread, default thread with the time, with the time, with the time. So I'm going to write it default thread flow, default thread flow with the time dot py. Import threading, import threading. Students, DEF, one small calculation I will do students, LST. What I am doing, for a value in LST, just try to follow. Backslash T, I will say, here I am going to write it. Square of the value is equal to like this. Dot format of threading dot, current underscore thread, dot name, comma, value star star 2, value star star 2, close. I'm just writing here time dot sleep of 1. Already in destructor concept, I said this. Time is called what? One model. Only time I am taking, not a date time. Date time not necessary. Only time I want. Time is a model of sleep. 1 second I am making it to sleep. To make you to understand that they are going to come one by one. So sleep time is a model. This is the one I'm going to write one more kind of function. What is the function name? Cubes. So I'm going to write a cubes. LST value. Here I'm going to write a cube. Cube I'm going to take it. Here I'm going to write a star 3. I'm going to take it 3. So here I'm going to write it 2. Write it done. Now I'm going to come to the main program now. Main program I'm going to write it. So I'm going to write the main program. What is this now? LST is equal to, for example, 10, 13, 5, 9, minus 12, some 19, 25, something like, 18, something 23, something like, 6, something like, 15. Like that, I am having the data. For example, for this data, I want to do what? Program execution started. Program execution started. Here I'm going to write it. So here I will show you. In this place, I'm going to show. Now I'm going to write it. Square of what I'm going to pass it? List. For the list of data, I'm doing the square. This is called a normal only. Normally we use write the coding in the class. Cubes. మీకు డౌట్ ఎందుకు వస్తుందంటే వై యు ఆర్ గెటింగ్ డౌట్ సమ్ టైమ్స్ బికాజ్ యూ డోంట్ ప్రాక్టీస్. దట్ ఇస్ ద మేజర్ ప్రాబ్లమ్ విత్ ద స్టూడెంట్స్ నవ్ డేస్. నాట్ ఓన్లీ యూ, టోటల్ స్టోరీ ఈజ్ లైక్ దట్. మొత్తం స్టూడెంట్స్ అంతా అంతే ఉన్నారు, మీరే కాదు. సో గో టు దిస్ ప్లేస్. ప్రోగ్రామ్ ఎగ్జిక్యూషన్ ended by like this. Like this we are having dot name like that. Square of LST, cubes of LST. I'm calling the function. Now execution ended by. Now I'm going to show, try to follow it carefully. Execute. Now this execution time I want to measure. How much time the main thread only will execute? How do you measure the time complexity in Python? That is, how do you measure the time complexity in our programming DSA algorithms and all? In Python, I want to tell. Others, I don't know whether you know it or not. Here I'm recording beginning time. Beginning time is equal to, suppose I want to start my class 11:15. Ending time minus beginning time is equal to duration of the time I'm taking. Time dot, time is a module. In that I'm going to take time function, which will take milliseconds of time also it will record. System time it will record. Before my program execution starting, it is recording. Ending also I want to go for it. ET is equal to time dot time. Before the class time I'm noting, end of the class time also I'm noting. What is this now? What is that? What is that now? Total execution time. Total execution time by single default thread. Default thread is equal to comma et minus bt. Et minus bt. Ending time minus beginning time. I am giving, try to execute. Online students, with the time this is. Execute my program. Py. See students, it is going to give you what? Okay. So value comma. Here also value comma. Execute. See that main program execution starts by main thread. Main thread only will execute my functions. Square function is executing now. After that, it will get you what? Cube will be coming now. Cube. It is cube is started now. Cubes is getting started. It is taking how much time you see? The total time is taken as what here? It is getting 22.02 milliseconds is taking. 22 point, this much of seconds it is taking. Seconds to microseconds. This is the time which is getting taken here. This is the squares is completed. After the squares is completed, now we are going to start with this kind of thing. I hope that it is getting, once again you see, main thread is executing one function at a time. After one function is executed, next it is going to another function. That means once one person is doing that, you are not going to do the other operation. So that is going to be known as what? One by one it is getting executed. One by one execution will take what? More time. How many threads are there in my program? Only one thread is there. One thread is executing the functions one by one. But today I want to do what? I want to rewrite my code. I am rewriting my code. What is the code? I will call how many people? Two people I will call. One person will do which concept? Squares. One more person will do what? Parallelly, they are going to display the results. If you want a square, you can call. If they want cubes, they will call. Okay. So coming to this place, showing the internal flow of what? Subthreads. Subthreads with which one? Default thread with time. Subthreads are there, default threads are there. Now I'm going to take a subthreads flow with the time. Okay, as it is, not doing any change in the business logic. Only thing is I'm going to change it to which place? Squares. How do I do? Hmm. Come on. Create multiple. Create two subthreads. Create what? Two subthreads. Two subthreads. I'm going to create. How do you create? T1 is equal to threading dot thread of. I'm going to write it. Target is equal to what is that? Square, and whose value arcs is equal to arcs stands for what? Arguments. Another keyword argument I am passing in the form of tuple you need to pass. Tomorrow class I will explain that again. Today you need to get keyword arguments. These are name the function. To that function, what is the parameter? That parameter to be passed in the form of tuple. Tuple means single value, comma you need to write. That is called a tuple representation. This is for what? Thread creation. Next, I will go for one more thread. I will go for it. What is the next thread creation? T2 is equal to threading dot threading dot thread of what is this now? Target is equal to cubes, comma arcs is equal to LST, comma. This is done. Now you do what? What I said already. Dispatch the subthreads. Dispatch the subthreads. How do you dispatch? T1 dot start, T1 dot start, T2 dot start, T2 dot what? Start, T2 dot start. Program execution stopped. And before that, I would like to say something. You don't bother about it. Tomorrow class I'll explain. T2 dot join. So today you need to understand start, start. Tomorrow I'll give the notes for it. This one also notes I will give you. Now I'm going to start here. What are the names are printed by default? Thread 1, thread 2. This is a T1 is an object whose names I said thread 1, thread 2. If you want, you can give your own name also. Both of them are parallelly executing. My result is going to show mixed answer. Thread 1, thread 2. Thread 1, thread 2, it is going to come the result. And it is going to give you half of the time only I got it. Already how much time I got it? 22. You will get with this half of the time only you are going to finish it. This is executed. Save this code. Going to this place, execute, py, students, you try to observe it, thread 1, thread 2. In one part, multiple answers are going to come. Squares of cubes, so squares of cubes, so multiple results are going to come. In one moment, multiple things are coming. What the time is coming? Almost half of the time is coming. What it indicates? When there are several activities are there in my application, to make the applications to execute all at once, which concept I have to apply? Threading I have to apply. So which is a faster or slow? So normal non-threading takes what? More time. Threading will take what? Less time. That is the significance of what? Concurrent execution will take what? Less execution time will be taken. Once you go to an interview, this type of examples you have to show first coding so that people can understand. మీకు అర్థమైందా లేదా I don't know whether you understood or not, but my examples will make you to show the advantage of multi-threading. Okay, so online students, I hope so today you understood the significance of this kind of thing. So in this place you are understanding few things: types of application, purpose of threading, which will take very less time, definition of thread, purpose of thread, module name. Tomorrow I will go for it. Today I created two threads. I created in this place T1 and T2 created. Their execution also done. Each thread is having its own functions are there executed. You observe it. Main thread stopped. Main thread started. In middle of it, thread 1, thread 2, thread 3. If you want to assign your own name, you can assign. T1 dot name is equal to KVR. T1 dot name is equal to KVR. T2 dot T2 dot name is equal to something like what? Something like some student called what, something like one some name some name is called something like Rajesh. I will take like this. So it is getting executed, you see. This is the one, you see. KVR Rajesh. Multiple people are executing multiple activities. That will take very less time, half of the time of the previous one. You can give your own name to the thread also. You can give your own name also to the thread. So like that, we are going to give our own name. How to give our own name? I will tell you tomorrow. Nothing to worry about it. This parts I will explain tomorrow. Only today you have to understand about this concept. This part you have to understand. This module name tomorrow I will explain, and I'll go for this examples today. Read that concept today. Which one? Whatever I was explained conceptually, I shown the coding today that you execute, practice and come. So coding means not in one day that will come. Coding will come from the day one onwards, data types onwards, daily without leaving you have to practice. That is the commitment. వదలకుండా ప్రాక్టీస్ చేయాలి. That is called the result will come. Without leaving single day, unpracticing, if you make it, that will become lazy, coding will not come. That is the top secret. But you know already. So without working hard, no result will come. If anything result is coming, that is not going to be a permanent, that will be a volatile only. So this I will post it. And tomorrow class, I will go for the module name. I will discuss what are the functions present in that. I will tell you. Okay, now? Right. Take care. Tomorrow, don't miss it. And online students, you hold on if you have any doubts in the session. Thank you. Carry on.